So they stopped farming and they started doing just trash. And when my father and my uncle took over, they said, you know what, we got to get into recycling and we got to continue the trash and make the focus of everything we do to grow the company. And we started out in Simsbury, so we went word of mouth, town by town around us, basically.
How do you determine your areas where you service?
Oh, well, because we grew little by little from Simsbury on, every town in Connecticut handles their trash and recycling slightly differently. So in Simsbury, you get to choose who your trash hauler is. Now in the town of Granby, right next door, they don't do it that way. They said to their town officials, you choose the trash company for us. You get us as a whole town trash service. So for those towns, we have to bid them, which is a big process. They give us lots of documents and they say, hey, can you do all of this good stuff? And if you can, what would you charge us? And they compare prices and they say, who is the best for the town
Cheapest
of?
and best.
Yeah, well, I hope it's not just the cheapest, it's the best service, you know? So in those towns, we can only get into them when it's time for a bid. And sometimes those bids can last 10 years of service, so I don't have the opportunity to get in those towns very often. But Avon, Simsbury, Heartland, Barkhamsted, East Granby, those towns don't do it. So we were able to by word of mouth say, hey, you're not too far from us, we could pick you up, and here's what we would charge, and people get to choose. So that's kind of how we've grown our service, little by little.
That's it. What is the most interesting thing that normal people probably just don't know about sanitation?
There's so many things. I think the first thing I'll say is to get a truck, it's 2 years almost to get a new one. And they're very expensive. Trash trucks get maybe 2 miles to the gallon. So when you miss the trash, it's very, miss putting it out on time. It takes quite a bit of energy on the truck's part, fuel consumption, maintenance, to get the truck all the way back to your house to dump that one barrel one time and then drive all the way back to the shop. Specific to Simsbury, there is a landfill in Simsbury. People sometimes call it the dump or the transfer station. It was officially closed in 1990. Now they still use that space as a transfer station, but nothing gets buried in the ground anymore. In Simsbury, we have some very smart bears. The bears know all of the trash routes in town. They know what day of the week your pickup is, and they know what day of the week the people on the other side of town have pickup. And those bears will travel those routes all day, every day. If you put your barrels out, keep them 3 feet apart. Because the grippers on the truck need space to hug the barrel. Yeah. And the other thing that people don't know is if you put bleach in your trash barrel, a big jug of it, which you're not supposed to do, and me, your neighbor, I put ammonia in my barrel, which I'm also not supposed to do, those chemicals will mix when they get in the truck because of the way the packing works. So this is why we don't want people to put chemicals in the trash. Alone they would probably be okay, but because they can mix with everything, that's how fires start in the back of trucks.
I've heard about that too.
Those fires can be crazy because all of that trash in that truck is fuel. And it will burn a truck, and well, you know, it takes 2 years to get a truck, right? So we don't want to do that. So when there's a fire in the truck, they have to find a safe place to pull over, and then they do what they call ejecting the load. They push all the trash out onto the ground, call the fire department, help them put it out, and make sure it's safe, and then they have to load it back into dumpsters and bring it down to the different disposal sites once it's safe.
That's my questions.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you asking me all the questions,
Yeah, I
sir. And if you have follow-ups, just let me know.
Yeah.